What's up guys, I'm They Coming In. Welcome to today's video. Today I'm very excited to be unveiling my Town Hall 11 Laboratory Guide. I put a lot of work and thought into putting this guide together, and it was actually a little bit more difficult than I initially anticipated. Whereas at earlier Town Hall levels, the laboratory meta is dictated for you very clearly. At Town Hall 11, really the gambit is wide open. There's plenty of what you would call meta war attack strategies, and you really have your choice when you first hit TH11. That being said, I'm going to break this down into ground, air, support, and extra laboratory upgrades. So first off, let's start off with ground, and I am going to suggest a couple troops as we go as being definitely things that you want to do early on, and I'll explain why in each scenario. So for ground, what we're going to talk about are your top tier win conditions. Win conditions are troops or spells that are going to give you like an immense, basically an offensive attack spike, right? So the first thing that you want to do when you get to TH11 is to upgrade your bowlers to level 3. This is the only thing for ground that I'm going to say just go ahead and do this first, because the bowler is so useful in a variety of attack styles. You can use the bowler for ground-based attacks or air-based attacks. You can use them in small quantities or in large quantities. The bowler has a devastating effect on offense, and you could not go wrong picking the bowler first here. Now, after you've done those bowlers, the witches would be a great complement to these bowlers because the bowler witch strategy is great for 11v10 dips or even 11v11 if you know what you're doing. So, but for me personally, I said, you know what, I'm not interested in the witch. I personally don't like using the troop, so I went for other things after that. So if you're not going to do the witch, that's totally fine. You have two other options. You can go for hogs to level 7 or miners to level 4 and then straight to level 5. Now, if you do miners, take in mind that it's going to take roughly a month for you to complete both of those upgrades back to back. So your laboratory is going to be occupied for a considerable amount of time. They're an amazing war troop and, definitely something that you won't go wrong upgrading. But I want you to consider what's going to be happening with your royal upgrades. If you're farming sort of moderately well, you might find it an advantage in choosing hogs or miners based on what kind of resources you have in excess of or what you're able to farm more quickly. So just keep that in mind, guys. Hogs to level 7, excellent 11v10 dip strat or even 11v11 strat. I've done it on my streams in war, but also on the ladder hitting 11v11. It's a super fun thing to use and it's definitely effective. Also miners level 5. Miners are also extremely effective as well, going 11v11 or 11v10. So let's move on to the air, guys. So for your air, again, we'll be talking about the top tier win conditions here. And the first troop that you see there highlighted in gold is Loons to level 7. Now the Loons to level 7 serves a multi-purpose, and I strongly stand by this being the first air troop you should upgrade when you start to go down this path. The reason for that is because Loons are an extremely effective farming troop and war troop. 11v11 Lalo is one of the go-to war strategies right now at high-level competitive play, but also Loons are extremely effective and cost-efficient when farming with them round about the Titan League. So you really can't go wrong using Loons. They are significantly tankier and do quite a bit more damage. When you're hitting Town Hall 10s, these Loons often require one less Loon per defense, and especially when you start hitting TH11 point defense, the Loons level 7 require one less Loon over the level 6 to take down a defense in one shot. So to go with your Loons, you can choose to do the Lava Hounds to level 4. Now this is, you could argue that the Lava Hound does not really belong with the win conditions, but it just goes so well to complete a Lalo that I thought, you know what, we'll just put those two things together. You could argue that this Lava Hound actually belongs in the support group, which comes up after this. So just keep that into consideration. Loons are elixir and Lava Hounds are dark elixir. So think about those royal upgrades. You want to be constantly mindful of what you want to do, how you're going to progress your king, queen, and warden in a timely fashion. So after the Loons, dragons and baby dragons, upgrading the dragons to level 6 and the baby dragons to level 5. Those are both extremely valuable air troops and definitely part of the TH11 war meta right now. So guys, Keep that in mind. Also, I want to sort of draw your attention to sort of, something that I noticed about both the air lab upgrades and the ground upgrades. Most of the upgrades that are desirable to do for ground are going to be dark elixir based, whereas the air upgrades, most of them, as you can see, these are elixir based. So, just keep that in mind when you're trying to pick an upgrade path. Moving on to support. So here, support. These upgrades are meant to enhance your attack. They're not going to necessarily carry you to victory, but they're definitely going to make what you have going, all that much better, right? So the first thing on the list, and I stand by this 100%, I think if you want a good support upgrade, going for the healers to level 5 is going to make you so much more safe when you're doing those queen walks. But also if you're doing something like Bowler Witch, you want to put a couple healers on either side. Super, super nice healing value from that. If you do the math, 4 level 5 healers actually gives you more healing benefit than 5 level 4 healers. So you could argue, if you're taking a queen walk or charge of some kind, that you effectively gain 14 troop space in the way of basically gaining another healer's worth of healing, sort of. Does that make sense? After that, guys, look at the golems, level 6 and level 7. Now, 5 to 6, you gain 300 hit points. 6 to 7, you gain another 300 hit points. So when you go from level 5 to 7, that's a 600 total hit point increase. It's not like the most amazing thing in the world, but it's definitely going to help you as you progress from hitting, basically early or low level Town Hall 11s to hitting the more max level Town Hall 11s. If you're going to put a golem in, having the level 7 golem is definitely going to make somewhat of a difference. So another thing here would be the clone spell level 4 and level 5. Now, if you're going to upgrade the clone spell, you definitely need to go ahead and devote that month-long period of time to get it all the way maxed out. And the reason for that is actually very clear. This clone spell synergizes extremely well with air armies, right? For loons, you can clone up to 8 additional loons onto the battlefield. For dragons, you can get up to 2 additional dragons onto the battlefield. And for baby dragons, you get up to 4 additional baby dragons on the field. That's a lot of damage per second. That's a lot of hit points that you're adding to your army by using this, sort of niche spell, right? A lot of 11v11 Lalo these days is including some form of a clone spell. It's extremely strong. Also, a lot of 11v10 diff attacks that involve air are using a clone spell because the TH11 or the TH10 point defense has a little bit of a problem keeping up with that many extra troops and hit points. So guys, I do want to also point out that with the clone spell, you should definitely have upgraded your troops first, okay? Because the clone spell, it clones what you already have. So if you have an inferior level 5 dragon, you'll be cloning the level 5 dragon. You will receive a level 5 dragon that comes out of the clone, right? So it makes the most sense to max the troop first before you then max the spell and start to implement this spell. So keep that in mind. Go for the troops first and then go for this spell. Now, the last support upgrade that I have on this list is going to be the poison spell to level 5. This is actually something that I think a lot of people overlook, but at TH11, since we get to upgrade our clan castle to house a full elixir spell, oftentimes a lot of people are only taking 1 dark spell. So if that dark spell is going to be our own poison spell, which is definitely sort of the meta decision, you need to be able to deal with that defending clan castle, it makes the most sense that you have a maxed out poison spell yourself because you can't take the poison spell in your clan castle. Makes sense? And yes, the poison spell level 5 does receive a pretty large increase in damage per second, so I think you really cannot go wrong doing the poison spell as a very viable support upgrade. Last but not least, let's talk about the extras, okay? So these are the extra upgrades that, are, some of them are actually good, but all of them are pretty much going to give you sort of a marginal, just a marginal improvement over what you already have. The only thing on this list that I would say wouldn't be so marginal would be a free spell to level 6. Now, with the free spell to level 6, some people could argue that this actually belongs in the support category. But because the level 5 free spell was actually the standard for over a year and a half of TH11's lifespan, people were tripling with the level 5 free spell. Honestly, and also when you're using a clone spell army, say you're doing like a clone Lalo, people are not using free spells all the time with that composition because that clone spell actually takes 4 spell slots, which is effectively 2 elixir spells. So, you know, I don't think that the free spell is necessarily that necessary to do early on. It's definitely something that can come later when you're starting to hit more and more max level TH11s. That extra second that you gain from the spell upgrade is definitely going to come in handy, but it's not so important early on. Next up, I have the Wallbreaker also highlighted in gold. You're basically going to find, you know, just marginal improvements from this. Basically, when you hit level 10 walls, you're going to be able to use 1 less Wallbreaker if you have level 7 versus level 6. The same can be said for level 12 walls. For level 12 walls, you need 4 level 6 Wallbreakers. If you have level 7 Wallbreakers, you only need 3. Unfortunately, for level 11, there is no benefit to having the Wallbreakers upgraded to level 7, but just keep that in mind, guys. It's a small optimization there. You're likely only going to be able to gain maybe 2 to 4 extra troop space worth of value by upgrading that Wallbreaker. Now, everything else that's left on this list, I kind of grouped it all together. The Giants to level 8, the Wizards to level 8, the P.E.K.K.A. to level 6, the Minion to level 7, Valkyrie level 6, sadly, and the Skeleton Spell to level 4. These are all definitely things that can wait till the very, very end. Giants, not considered a hardcore war troop. Wizards to level 7, it's a funneling troop. P.E.K.K.A. to level 6 still hasn't really found a solid place in the war meta right now. It's not really considered a war troop at the moment. Minion to level 7, it's a cleanup troop. If you're doing some kind of a Lalo, the level 6 minions, if you drop them soon enough, they'll do just fine to clean up the trash for you and help you in that raid. And unfortunately, and I know a lot of people might be upset that I put the Valkyrie so low on this list of priority, but I still don't feel like the Valkyrie has this sort of 3-star potential against max 11s that are well built and well put together. The max level Valkyrie, you know, it only gets in 100 extra hit points over the level 5. Yes, it gets a little bit more DPS, but when you talk about, you know, just like the fact that they've buffed the bomb towers, they've buffed the Inferno towers, there's so many things about TH11 defense that has improved to where, you know, when they finally release this level 6 Valkyrie, I don't feel like it's strong enough, being that it's going to be eating all of that damage. It is the front light troop. It is the damage troop. I just don't think that it's what you would consider a meta war troop at the moment. So I have to put this way down the list and include it in this extra category. If you got to have it, by all means, go for it. I was tempted myself. I wanted an upgraded for it, and I've had some fun with it. But Skeleton Spell also falls into this category. Yes, you're going to get more skeletons out of that spell versus the level 3, but it's not something that you need to do right away. Anyways, guys, I am going to include the summary right here for you to look at. I've included summed it up for you, the ground, air, support, and extra upgrade categories. And guys, I want you to remember that you're new to Town Hall 11. It's okay, right? Town Hall 11's hard, but you're smart, you have a brain, use your head, plan effectively, and just know what you have coming ahead of you. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this Town Hall 11 laboratory guide. Take care. See you later.